Okay. Hi, everyone. First of all, I'm just so excited to be here today. I am very honored to be working with Launch Showcase and to working with you and doing this virtual class today. I think it's so wonderful how we have the internet to connect with everyone. Can you just imagine without the internet at these times? I don't know. It would be very difficult for me because I feel like I'm connected to the outside world knowing that we have this type of a technique to work with. Well, my name's Loretta Wilger, and I'm owner of Looks Pro Model Scouts and Looks Cosmetics. And Looks Pro Model Scouts, what we do is we scout and train professional models and place them with reputable top agencies throughout the United States and internationally and in Asia as well. I would like to go over some things about what the new norm in the industry is. And the first and most important thing that we need to be aware of is we need to be patient, right? I know that there's a lot of things in our lives today that it's really hard to be patient. And with the anxiety and everything, I have sometimes sleepless nights. I wake up and think, okay, I'm fine, or I'm not. I just have anxiety, and I'm sure that everybody does too. And there's some days when I keep myself busy that's what keeps me going. And working with everyone in the fashion industry and staying connected with everyone, which is what is very important. So the first and most important thing that in the modeling industry that we know we have to add to our model bag, we call it, is the hand sanitizer and the mask. So that's something that maybe I can do a class sometime all about makeup, but when we go into the agencies or these conventions or in the outside world or to a modeling job, you need to have that. I worked last week as a model and they asked me to make sure that I had that. So that was number one. And then also the agencies right now, if I have you raise your hand, I'm going to ask you this question, okay? If I ask you a question, you raise your hand. I just want to know if you knew that or whatever. Is that okay, everyone? Right? Okay, great. Okay, so many agencies right now in the modeling industry, they're all still staying at home. They're being very cautious, but they're working out of their homes and staying connected with all their models. So we need to make sure that our models are staying healthy, staying connected, because it's all about, in the fashion industry, you need to know who's on the cover. You need to know who's on the cover of that magazine. You need to know who's the next upcoming star. That is your homework. A lot of the new models that we have, we actually have them make sure that they're having the top fashion magazines come to their homes so they know what's going on to keep them informed, even though that you can follow everything on the internet. But I still like to have that magazine, that actual feel of a book or a magazine in my hands, and I collect them and save them to look at. So that's one thing that I would suggest that you do. But the agencies, for instance, they are still staying connected, still scouting, and still, if they're scouting right now, they're doing everything virtually. So I just want you to know that hasn't stopped. They're still working behind the scenes just like we are today with these virtual class today. So they will be, if they find someone that they're connected to, and first of all, Instagram is how they are scouting. I can go on Instagram, and if I find someone on Instagram, that's pretty much how the industry is scouting a lot of the girls, as well as in these conventions. So this convention that's coming up in September, we're going to make sure your Instagram is so huge to have that up and running. Raise your hand or give me a thumbs up who has Instagram. Great. So all of you, if there's some of you that don't have Instagram, it's really easy to sign up, or maybe you're very young and you're nervous about doing that, or your parents are concerned about that. The parents can actually post the pictures and keep you connected that way. But let's back up a little bit. So I'm just looking at my notes. The business in the modeling industry is picking up. Starting in June, it's really picking up. So we're taking things slow. I worked last week as a model, and I want you to know it was very, very, they were so professional. Social distancing. They took my temperature when I walked in the door. Everyone wore masks. It was extremely professional. I was not hesitant or afraid to be there at all. So, you know, this time it's definitely a more scary time, or we have a little bit of anxiety over everything. But you know something? If everyone goes by this protocol, we're going to be just fine. And I'm sure a lot of you, you've had a lot of time to think, right? Being home, sitting there by yourself, not seeing your friends, to evaluate how you want to pursue this industry. So this is what we can do to get you up to that level, okay? The first thing I would do is make sure that you're taking care of yourself at this time. Exercise, stay in shape. The modeling agencies, if you already have one, they're actually having all the models take digis so they can make sure that they're updated hairdos. Even if you haven't decided to cut your hair and keep it longer, that's okay too. We just want to make sure that the clients know exactly when you show up, if your hair color has changed, the length of your hair, and so forth. Okay, so just keeping yourself in shape, and also following your social media. So social media is really important. We have this. Ever heard of social influencers? Give me a thumbs up. Do you know what social influencers are? Okay, so let's just say, for instance, you have a good following. So let's just say you have 10,000 following you. A client actually would love to see that. And also, when you go to launch in the fall, we all ask, how many followers do you have? Because clients now will not only look at your photos to book you, if you have a good portfolio, they're also going to ask you how many followers you have, because I know that there's some clients, they won't even see some of the models unless they have 50,000 plus followers, because that means that their outfit that they're wearing, or their watch, or their sunglasses, whatever they're wearing, is going to be influenced by this model and going to just have more sales. Okay, so it's really important. So we want the Instagram to be very clean, beautiful, come from your heart, just very simple, clean, and beautiful. It's nothing, people start thinking about it too much with Instagram. Instagram is something that is quite easy. But again, for the modeling industry too, I have some that have two Instagrams. One's for their modeling industry, and one is for their personal life. Okay. Does anyone have two Instagrams? No? Okay, that's okay. So we also have, let's say you're a social influencer and you have 50,000. You can actually, a client might call the agency, and let's say, for instance, they see you at launch, they're going to say, great, she would be great. Let's say Kohl's would like to use you as their influencer, okay? Or J. Crew or Land's End. Now what's happening is these clients are sending clothes to the model at home. You're doing your own hair, your own makeup, taking your own photos, and they're still paying you a daily rate. Okay, so this is going to be somewhat of the new norm. We still will have catalogs and so forth, but the social media is really what's happening today. Okay, so let's also talk about the etiquette of the business, if we can. The etiquette of the business, I'm sure that you're up late at night and it's 11 o'clock and you want to text someone from launch or email them. We want to make sure that we all 9 to 5, okay? Monday through Friday. I have a lot of times when my models want to talk at 11 o'clock when they're up on their computer, and I always email them back. Office hours are 9 to 5, okay? So it's really important to stay within those boundaries, and you know, when you're going to launch and launch is guiding you, they want to help you. They're there for you all the time. I know that. They're just such a wonderful company to work with, and you're all so very blessed. okay? Because they're just so personable and make you feel so good. And that's something that's so important. So, because when I started modeling, so I modeled when I was 18. I'll tell you a few little stories, okay? When I started when I was 18, I went to a little charm school. And in that charm school, it was called Mary Bonsert's Charm School. And that's where I started. And then from there, I went off to New York City. Okay, it was a crazy, crazy, busy world. And I came from a farm with a family of 7 children in a small little house in Warrenville with 1 bathroom and 1,500 square feet. Okay, and I thought it was my palace, and it still is to this day because that's where I grew up. But I just want you to know is that when I went to New York City and going into that crazy world that I had then, and surviving all of that, and becoming a professional model, I was very, very blessed. So the business, it can be crazy, it can be tough, but you have launch, showcase to mentor you, to guide you. And then once you're repped by an agency, for instance, they will then proceed to guide you even further into the industry. Okay, this is a crazy world out there, but that's what an agent is for. So I know that a lot of you are just beginning, so let's talk about different types of modeling. So we have print models. So there's different types. There's the lifestyle modeling, which is more for women who are my age, okay? I might be doing one day a job for Kohl's, and the next day I might be doing a advertising ad for vacuums, okay? That's how it can bounce from one day, this type of job, to the next, to having me playing grandma and having a baby in one arm and a daughter in the next. You know, so it is just, that's more lifestyle modeling. Then we have editorial modeling. When you open up Vogue magazine, Harper's Bazaar, those fabulous pictures that they show more towards the back of the magazine, that's the editorial. Those are editorial, very high fashion. A lot of the advertising is in the beginning of the magazine, okay? You're advertising, you're selling a product. So it could be anywhere from, we have Burberry, okay, or Tom Ford, you know, we can have perfumes and handbags and shoes and so forth. You're advertising for a product. So, and then there's catalog modeling, which catalog modeling is for Kohl's and Target and so forth. So those types of jobs. We also have e-commerce. I mean, raise your hand if you know what e-commerce is. Great. So e-commerce modeling, for those who don't know, e-commerce is where when you click on and want to buy an outfit, so let's just say it's Target. So you want to buy that outfit, and when you see the photo, they're going to show you all different angles, front, side, back. That's called e-commerce modeling. And there's a lot of that to this day. There's a lot. So there's going to be a lot more because so many people are now ordering online. And due to the pandemic, people have been forced to order online. People who were nervous about it, but they're not nervous about it anymore. Is anyone here nervous about ordering online or opening the computer? Anybody? Good. I love that. Michelle, you're shaking your head. Good for you. Good for you, because I know a lot of women in my age, they're petrified of it. But I've been very lucky because I've been working all this time, and I know a lot of people who don't want to learn how to do it, or they're just afraid, and it's something that's outside the box for them. But I was going to say is that, Steve, if you'd like, I'd love to talk to them further if they have any questions. If they have any questions, I can answer any questions now if you'd like.
Sure. All right, so we'll go and hit it. I'm gonna unmute you.
Okay. You talked about contacting between 9 and 5. Was that
Yes.
just text or that email also?
Oh, you know something? I text and email. And what's your name?
Sean.
Oh, okay, Sean. Yes, so Sean, yes, text or email between 9 and 5 Monday through Friday, unless they tell you otherwise. Yes, they would love you if you did that.
Well, and of course, phone calls. I would imagine sending an email, you know, between after 5 o'clock p.m. is fine, but don't expect a return.
Exactly. Right, Steve. Right. Yes. Send an email, but we're not going to respond until the next morning. And if there is something that's urgent, you can stress that it's urgent. But yes, that is correct.
And something I'd like to add, as you
Yes.
start working with agents in larger markets than where you are, you may still be based where you are in the middle of the country and may have an agent in Los Angeles. So you have to be aware of their time zone and not, catch them with a phone call or a text, at 4 o'clock in the morning, and vice versa, East Coast, if you're all the way on the West Coast, at 11 o'clock at night.
And I have a good example because I had one of my models, okay, he's doing extremely well, and we actually sent him out to California, and he's on Chicago time, but they wanted to book him in New York, out of New York. So what happened was New York's already awake. That's 4 hours difference, right? Yes. 4 hours difference. So what happened was they needed to have an okay from him to book him for this job. They needed to have an okay within a few hours. Well, he's still sleeping. So he didn't know, but so I always tell everybody in LA, you have to have your phone next to you, not on silent, because if we need to contact you. So we actually took a chance and we booked him without getting his okay. So it all worked out. But we also have models who are in Europe and they forget. And one model called me up, and it's in the middle of it's actually, it was actually 3 o'clock in the morning, but it was 10 o'clock her time in Paris. And she's calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning to chit chat. She goes, Loretta, I'm so sorry, I forgot. So it's a very good point to definitely make sure you have the right time zone.
Go ahead, Lynn. Oh, sorry, hold on.
Another point about emails, if you are sending an email, like let's say on Friday night, bear in mind that they're probably going to get 500 emails over the weekend, and they might your emails. It's usually wiser to wait and send it first thing in the morning so that it, one, doesn't annoy them if they're during the weekend and they have to work and they don't want to deal with your email, and two, lost.
Right, that is right. I always tell all the models when after I've worked with them that Monday, do not call them if it's not needed, because Friday and Mondays are they're just really crazy days and they're inundated. So, but of course they will get back to you. Lynn was so right.
Who else has a question? Michelle, do you still have a question?
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, how you doing, Loretta? Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Oh.
And I'm from Illinois originally. I'm from Harvard, small-time gal. Yeah, thanks so much. So my question is, because I know on a lot of our launch calls, and I'm hearing it all over that, Instagram and influencers and followers and subscribers on YouTube. And I'm just starting to try to get some traction going here. And it's kind of a slow go. I guess what are some things that you tell your models to do to kind of spice things up and get a little peppy so that way we can get some traction going?
Well, I first think that you also, a lot of people forget, you need to hashtag it. You need to, find out. So when, let's say for instance, I have like for instance, I'm with my cosmetic line. For instance, I'm going to put up a product, and underneath that, I'm going to do hashtag makeup. There's 2.8 million followers. Hashtag natural beauty. Okay. So, that is something that is very, very important. And now what's nice is that when you want to hashtag something, it comes up on your phone. It will tell you how many followers they had. In the beginning, they did not do that. So that's something that's going to get you many more followers, and also posting regularly.
Okay. Hey, Alicio, did you have a question there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Hi, Loretta. How are you? Thank you for your time today.
So welcome.
I would like to ask you, so with preparing for launch in September, would you say it would be wise to have a portfolio, so to speak, of the different types of markets that let's say I would feel that I could be marketable to. So whenever I speak to an agent, modeling agency, whoever it may be,
Yes.
it's kind of I can tell them, hey, this is who I am. This is what I feel I can contribute and what I can bring to the table. I know one thing that's came to my mind is having a website, and a website to where it's, instead of handing a bunch of, let's just say, photos or physical material to you,
Yes.
it'd be much easier and accessible to have a website that I can just say, here's a card, or here's this website with all of my photos on it that you can see. Do you think that'd be something that would be?
What I would recommend? So here we get back to Instagram. The first thing that we do, okay, when you go to launch, when we see you, so we're going to fill out, we're going to ask your name, we're going to ask
Right.
where are you from and so forth. And the first thing is Instagram. And then we will actually, right then and there, a lot of times we'll just punch your Instagram right up right
Perfect.
away.
Okay.
So you don't need any website. And also
Okay.
when it comes to photographs, we, for instance, as the agents, now there is times where, yes, they'll set you up with a photographer and you get these great photographs. It's always great to see how you do photograph, okay? It's very, very important. And we as an agent will look at you and we might see a different type of look for you. Every agency, so, and when I model, for instance, in Chicago, they had a more commercial look for me. In New York, it was more editorial for me, which was just more high fashion. And then in Europe, I never did any body work or swimsuits in America, but when I went to Europe, that's all I did. So every country or every market has a different idea for what look you'd be good for, and so let them decide how they feel about you. Okay. So I always say to everybody too, don't do any drastic thing before you come to launch. If your hair's a little bit longer, like I just saw a gentleman yesterday, he hasn't cut his hair for 3 months because of the pandemic, right? And I loved it. I'm like, don't cut it. We'll trim it up a little bit. Okay. So also, there was one girl, Steve and Lynn, that I saw at launch, the last launch event, and she pulled her hair all the way back. And she was this beautiful African-American girl. And I said, girlfriend, you gotta let that hair go. I wanna see those curls. So the next day she shows up and she has this cool, funky hair. And I said, that's what we want, be you. So if you have curly hair, show up with curly hair. If you have straight hair, straight hair. Don't change it so drastically. Don't try so hard. It's all about natural. It's all about, showing the beautiful you inside and out. So when you come, we want to see your personality. We want you to smile. Don't be shy. We want you to come out, okay? That's very important. I know a lot of people are extremely shy, but when they get on stage, they have this whole air about them. There's a lot of celebrities that are very shy until they get on stage. So that's me as well. When I do have a type A personality and I am pretty much outgoing, but there's a lot of times where I'm very shy, but when I get in front of the camera, I'm a different person. I'm not afraid to move in front of the camera. I show my personality. So that's what we want you to do at launch. Come in yourself, show your personality. Don't change your hair so much. Don't wear a lot of makeup. Just be your beautiful, natural self, okay?
Great.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Heather, do you have a question for us? I show a hand.
Where's Heather?
Heather, I'm going to unmute you for a second, Heather. Heather, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi, Heather.
Hi. Sorry, I didn't have a question. It was probably from earlier.
So we answered it already for you.
So I guess that means you have Instagram, or you understand what a certain types of modeling are. That's what you raised your hand for before.
And I was thinking about how do you gain followers, but she answered the question with, the hashtag and different.
Okay. I'm going to mute you, Heather.
And so someone asked me too, in the modeling industry, I really feel that Instagram is really the way to go. It's where we look. If you go to most of the agencies, so Okay, here's another little bit of homework to do. Just go online and check out all the agencies. There's a bunch of agencies. There's, there's Next, there's IMG, there's Ford, there's Select, there's Option One, there's Rock Agency, there's 10 Management. I can go on and on and on. But you will see in a lot of them, you click on, so here's someone's Instagram to go look at it. Hers is a great girlfriend of mine. She's with Ford. Her name is Tara O'Hara, and she has a great Instagram. And also, if you go on Ford and look her up, Ford Chicago, it will show all her photographs, but then you can click on her Instagram. So right below her name, there'll be her Instagram connection, and you'll see everything from Instagram. Because the clients want to see how beautiful, natural it shows their personality and who they really are. So let's just say you're on Instagram and you're not only a model, but you have a hobby. So Heather, what hobby do you have? Anything? Painting or who
I
else?
do fashion illustration.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah.
fabulous. Okay, so if I'm gonna go on your Instagram, and how about I'll give you a week or so, and go, or 2 or a month. Okay, you add some beautiful pictures of yourself, of your family. Do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? We want to see that. We want to see some of your illustrations. Would be fabulous. Show them who you are. That's exactly what we want. Okay.
Okay.
Love it. Angelica, did you have a question?
Hi, it's actually Ariel. Angelica's my mom. I don't know why.
Oh.
But hello, Loretta. Thank you
Hi,
for your
Ariel.
time tonight. I actually, you were cutting out before when you had answered another question, and it was a question about whether or not you should bring pictures to show what market you wanted to work in. And I know you said basically you wanted the agencies to choose what market would be best for you depending on where you worked. But I didn't hear if you said if you should bring pictures at all.
Oh, well, actually, so if let's just say you've been introduced to a photographer through launch, and they have some photographs taken of you, which the more photographs, the more photo shoots that you do, the more experience you will get. So if someone wants to do a free photo shoot of you, your family, let's get back to that part as in, if anyone wants to do a photo shoot that you don't know of you, that I don't recommend, okay? Because I have a lot of times where models will call me up and they'll say, Loretta, someone saw me on Instagram, they'd love to do a photo shoot of me. And where I'm like, well, I don't know who that person is. So we got to be very, very careful. So like I always tell my models, run that by me. So run that by launch, run that by, make sure you tell your parents, and Lynn and Steve, they're there for you. So it's very, very important. So basically, getting back to your question, Instagram is what we'll go to look at some natural photos of you. If you have photos, we'd love to see them. I mean, I had a whole stack of photos and comp cards from everyone that I saw at launch. And what I do is when I come back and I come to my office, I will lay everyone's photos out on my desk, look them over, and then I'll put them in their certain categories, if they're children, if they're lifestyle, if they're editorial, high fashion. And then I'll go over and then I will, discuss and who I would like to meet and so forth. But that actually gives me something to take home. Okay, so I really like having something to take home with me. And I know a lot of the agents like that. We will take our own photos of you, and some of us will take measurements of your height and so forth. But it is nice to have a picture to bring. But I don't want you to spend a lot of money that you don't need to. You can do a couple of photo shoots or whatever. But I have to say this. I'll never forget it when someone came to my house and she did like, I don't know how many numerous photo shoots. It was unbelievable. And I just told her, I said, first you need to see an agent. But she didn't have any guidance from launch. She was just a girl that was just on her own and she felt she needed to have all these photos done. Okay, so that's not necessary. Just doing a couple photo shoots and having a comp card for us is very valuable to take home with us.
Cool. Hey, MJ, you have a hand up, a digital hand up. Are you have a question?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Fantastic.
Hello.
Hi there, MJ.
Hi, Loretta. Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're
Just
so
wanted
welcome.
to ask real quick. So, being a model scout who's been in the industry for some time now, how do you see the industry, moving forward, and how should aspiring models, influencers, all that stuff, how should they handle their Instagram, moving forward from this new normal, I guess?
Well, you need to just build up your Instagram. And also, again, you have to be patient because everything is starting up slowly. Okay.
Okay.
Agencies, for instance, and Lynn and Steve and I were talking this earlier. So being that everything's starting up slowly, we still are seeing new talent. That just gives, we just love seeing new talent because we get excited and we're excited to build your career. We just have to be a little bit more patient because it's going to take us just a little bit longer. So let's just say we want you to, for instance, right now at this time, if you have time to build a portfolio. Do you have an agency yet, MJ? MJ?
Um, I have kind of.
You're with represented by Launch right now.
I'm represented by Launch and also another agency, but I am an exclusive model in a different country,
Okay,
the
which
Philippines.
country?
The Philippines?
Okay, great. So what I also have to say is that your look is very in, MJ.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Yeah. So right now, there's, it is. So what I would suggest that you do is, you right now, you're going to do is build up your portfolio. You're going to build up your Instagram. That is the number one. Okay?
Okay.
You have all this time to do that before September, which is great. So work on that, building up your Instagram and just taking care of yourself and just studying fashion and all of that. So by the time you get to Launch, you'll be ready. You won't be shy. You'll be outgoing and you'll be ready to meet us agents, because what happens is that Lynn and Steve get you ready to meet us agents. And then what we do is we take you and take you up also to the next level. We will groom you. Like I have my models do a few classes, then we have them do a couple more photo shoots with top fashion photographers in hair and makeup and top, fabulous outfits. And then from there, we make sure that you're all ready to see these top agencies. We make sure that when we take you on, that if we place you with Ford, that for instance, that when Ford takes you on, they can book you the next day. That's one difference that what we do. We will train and educate you to be a top model. I always say to everyone, I said, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a top model? I said, because you have to think it here. So always, if anyone has a parent or a guardian that says, think big, right?
Right.
You feel you can't, you inside think you can't do it. Oh, yes, you can. Okay. We all have to. I never had a father that gave me he never built up my confidence. It's sad to say, he was a great person and he taught me so much, but he never was there to say, you did a great job. So for instance, I had to wake up at about 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning to feed the animals, to feed the cows. We milked the cows at 3:30 in the morning. We fed the horses, the sheep, the ducks, and all of that. So at 4:30 in the morning, I'm waking up, and then by 7 o'clock, I had to be at school, but I had to walk 2 miles to go to the bus to go to school because we lived so far away from everybody. But when my father, after school, I couldn't really have any activities because I had to go home and take care of the animals and weed the garden and take care of the fields and so forth. So he was such a perfectionist that, so let's just say I was weeding the carrots. Yeah, carrots. Carrots, I don't know if anyone knows what a carrot looks like when it grows, but it looks like a strand of grass. And so what happened was that I would never get a compliment from my father saying he did a good job. He would say, he'd make me wait in the middle till, even if it was dark out, until it was perfect.
Right.
And with a flashlight. I mean, this is absolutely crazy, but it's true. So that's why I guess I'm a perfectionist. Now, It made me angry then, but I just want to say is that what I'm getting here is that we can do anything. He taught me that if I worked hard, that I could do anything that I wanted to do. And you know something is that through this pandemic and this modeling industry wasn't easy for me, and I struggled, but I down deep knew that I just had to be patient and wait, and I was going to get someplace. So all of you who are really, really like, staying at home, sometimes we get depressed and we think, oh, we can't do that. Okay? That's not the case. If you think you're the only one that feels that way, you are not alone, because I have good days. I have bad days. I have days that when I modeled, I was petrified. Like when I would go to these big jobs that they pay me a lot of money to show up. I mean, I was traveling the world nonstop for years, and they had no idea that I was petrified, but I was. I didn't show it. But at the end of the day, I said, I did it. I can do that. So any of you are second guessing yourself, don't. Okay? Because you can do it. Okay?
Thank you so much.
So welcome.
Thank you, MJ.
Thank
So
you,
I
Steve.
think
Thank you.
that is a great place to end on. Very inspiring. Makes me want to go outside and check my garden.
I know everyone's growing a garden these days as well. Oh.
Raise your hand if you're growing a garden.
See? So you're growing your garden, but also grow your career. Okay? Do that for me in the spare time till we see you at launch. There's a lot of great things. If you ever have any questions, you can, I'm here if you have any questions. And also, can I tell them about what I want to give them, Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
Everyone. So Looks Cosmetics, we would love to give you a special code that you can get 30% off on skincare, makeup, masks and hand sanitizers if you need. It is so. Our website for Looks Cosmetics is either you can look at Looks Cosmetics and it will come up, or getthelooks.com is the actual website, but the model code for the discount is MODEL30. So it's capital MODEL 30. So you can get your cosmetics or skincare or anything for anyone for 30% off. And if you have any questions or whatever about Looks Pro Model Scouts, it's looks@lookspromodelscouts.com. And wherever you see this logo, okay, when you go to our Instagram, see that little logo? It looks like the shape of a face, okay? There's part of it as well. Look at me. Let me do that. There's my logo. There's our logo. So if you see that on a product, that's our company, okay? Because when you go to Instagram, if you see that logo, you'll know it's us, because there might be another Looks, okay? So we're here to answer your questions, and we're so proud, and we love working with Launch, and I'm happy that I got to answer any questions today, okay?